Kia ora, Marky here. So this episode is sponsored by Mitre 10 DIY. So, no, it's not actually. It should be though, because I'm kind of displaying their logo, but only for reasons of convenience. So for those of you who watched the previous video, where I said I was in an unsalubrious location, I'm now in a slightly more unsalubrious location because I've been kicked out. I was in a little kind of vestibule area of Mitre 10, which they're now shutting, so I'm now outside of Mitre 10. The Mitre 10, for those of you not from the sunny world of New Zealand, is a DIY store where my wife is busy shopping for things, and I have absented myself and I'm doing a spontaneous vlog. So there we go. So this is the second one I've done from Mitre 10, and I get no sponsorship or financial repayment from them whatsoever. I won't even get a discount on whatever it is my wife buys. So I want to talk today about a concept that comes from addiction recovery, but can apply to any form of recovery for anything. But I'm kind of talking about kind of psychological conditions really. So things like alcoholism, depression, anxiety, any form of addiction, and of course retroactive jealousy. Okay, you want to get well. What are the kind of things you need to do to get well? One of them is something that's called sticking with the winners. Okay, stick with the winners. So this is a phrase that's sometimes used in 12-step recovery, and where I've seen it the most is in the publications of an organisation called Hazelden. So Hazelden, for those of you who don't know, I love Hazelden. They're a big organisation. They've got their fingers in lots of pies, but their interest is in recovery, mainly from addiction. And they publish loads of books and lots of literature and share lots of wisdom. And they really do have some really good, practical, simple wisdom contained within their literature. They used to do this thing where they would send you a page from one of their books by email every day, and I've tried to see if I can log back onto it, but I've not been able to find it. But I used to get a little word of wisdom sort of emailed to me every day from Hazelden. I used to use it with clients. So one of the things they talk about, and I think other people have talked about this as well, is this concept, stick with the winners. What does it mean? Okay, well, you've probably kind of come across the concept. I don't know if it's, true, I don't know if it's been validated or proven, that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Okay, which is can be quite a scary kind of concept. So an exercise for you to do now, if you feel so inclined. I've moved, so I've got a kind of like spiritual halo coming from behind me, which is kind of quite good. Mainly so I can lean on something. So the 5 people that you spend the most time with, the theory is that you are the sum of those 5 people, which is interesting. So a little exercise for you to do. Pause the video. Well, don't pause the video yet because I haven't told you the exercise. Listen to the exercise, then pause the video, then unpause the video when you've done the exercise, obviously. So the first part is list the 5 people that you spend the most time with at the moment, and it might be a surprise. It might not be who you think it. You might think it's the people that you love the most in your life. It might actually be a bus driver or a bartender that you spend more time with. Often it's colleagues, isn't it? Because you spend lots of time at work. So think about who you spend the most time with. 5 people. Then write down positive qualities of those 5 people and the negative qualities of those 5 people. Or not necessarily negative qualities, but maybe something that they struggle with, something that's not working so well in their life. So maybe it's not a negative quality, is it? But if somebody's got a chronic illness, or if somebody's very poor, or if somebody's suffering with financial, maybe like a divorce or something like that. So the downsides of their lives are the negative qualities, the upsides of their life are the positive qualities, let's say. So do that exercise, hold on to that, and then come back when you've done it. Okay. So I don't know whether that was kind of, any surprises in there, but often people in recovery choose not to stick with the winners. And by winners, what I mean is people who are making the kind of recovery that you would like to make. Okay. So you might say, well, how could I meet these people? So for example, if you suffer with addiction and you go to 12-step recovery group or any other form of recovery group, there'll be some people there who are still struggling. And there's be some people there who have done really well in recovery, and their only sort of main reason for turning up is to help other people. They're the winners. Okay, but they're only the winners if they're living the kind of recovery that you think is good. Okay, if they're living kind of what we sometimes call a white knuckle recovery, and they're living the kind of lifestyle that really doesn't feel right to you, they're not winners. Okay, so a winner is somebody that's sustained recovery, is living a happy, fulfilled life in a kind of similar way to the way that you would like to live your life with your kind of values. So, for example, sometimes people kind of follow, they cross addict. So somebody might be in recovery from alcohol, but they're spending, ridiculous amounts of time in the gym. Okay, that's not true recovery in my book. I would challenge that. So they're not people to call winners, but the winners are the kind of people who live in a balanced life, the kind of lifestyle that you would like to lead. So the simple message in this is hang out with them, talk to them, learn from them, befriend them. Okay, why isn't this obvious, Marky? Surely people are going to do this anyway. Well, they don't actually. The opposite is more commonly true, because I think we like sympathy. We like to have kindred spirits. So sometimes, we latch on to people that are in similar situation to us or worse, which gives us may give us a kind of a sense of superiority, that even though we might not admit to it. So hang out with the people that are doing well. If you hang out with the people that aren't doing so well, then you might benefit from that camaraderie, from that sympathy, from that understanding, from that shared misery, but neither of you are going to necessarily be moving on. You might be holding each other back. So sticking with them, and it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Really, if you, because recovery is a big deal. It's a big thing to achieve. Now, if you're looking at other ambitious goals in your life, if you're looking at starting up a business in a particular field, then you might be associating and talking to and seeking the advice of people who are successful in that business. If you, for example, I often use this example, wanted to climb Mount Everest, then you would be better off kind of talking to people who have climbed Mount Everest and have, survived with all their limbs and their fingers and toes intact, who can give you some guidance, and inspire you and share information with you, or maybe go up there with you. Okay, so this is the thing to do with recovery. So thinking about kind of, if we use an example from retroactive jealousy, which is one of the things that I work with. Those of you that don't follow me for the retroactive jealousy side of things. So there's a couple of internet fora. I'm very stickler for correct Latin plurals, so I don't say forums. So fora is the plural of forum. And there are two fora that are popular on the internet. There might be more that I'm not. I run a third one, which is just for partners, by the way. And there's other videos on that if you want to find out more, or email me. And a lot of, particularly what people want to do when they first get onto those fora is to tell their story, to talk about what's really bugging them, and to find out if it's bugging anybody else. And then that gives them immediate comfort. And that's kind of fine, but if you stay in that place, you won't get well, okay? So what you really want to do if you're using those fora is find the people on there who have successfully recovered. And the easiest way to do that is to put a post on there saying, who has successfully recovered? And people will respond, because more and more people are recovering every day. And then you can chat to them and seek their guidance, seek their support, seek their camaraderie. So stick with the winners. Simple concept, in a way, kind of, it's kind of intuitive. Shouldn't really need saying from a strange location outside a DIY shop with weird light and shaky camera. But I think it does. So who do you want to be? You are the sum of the 5 people you spend all that time with. Do you want to be with people who are sympathetic but miserable, or do you want to be with people who are people that you like and people that maybe share the same values, but people who are in recovery, people who are leading a fulfilled and happy life? Because that's what I want for you. I want you to have a happy and fulfilled life. Rangi Mario.